were able to sit down with the developers of Battlefield 3 at PAX East and get a press preview. We were not allowed to get a hands-on due to bugs, but we do have some new information for you guys. Most of the information I have from PAX East, we actually saw this Fault Line Episode 2 there, and we saw a playable version of it as well, not just the video, so we will be talking about that. However, I'm not going to talk directly about the video. I'm just going to play the newest video in the background and tell you guys some of the new stuff we learned, because what we learned at PAX East was much more than what Fault Line Episode 2 will be showing us. So the biggest thing for the Battlefield 3 devs was that they're the only game running Frostbite 2 right now. The quote was, "Frostbite 2 is a game changer for us," and they really wanted to push that and make sure we told you guys. So as we find more about Frostbite 2's engine, we will tell you guys, and we'll probably do some more videos. I have confirmed that Battlefield 3 will be released this fall. It will be released this fall, according to the devs. So we found out the major enemies are the insurgent group called the PLR. We're not sure what PLR stands for, so if you know, please comment below. We noticed that the urban environments, as we talked about in the last video, the urban environments are taking the forefront. The first video where the earthquake zone is, where the guy says we're 90 clicks away from a major fault line, that is actually a school environment. It's kind of interesting to see schools actually getting some level design and some focus on the levels, because they're not normally things that are included, but it does add to the realism of the single-player campaign, and I'm sure it'll be fun to take cover behind teachers in multiplayer. The next thing I want to talk about is, if you remember the end of the last video where I said cars were exploding, and a lot of people say cars aren't really going to explode, that was just an RPG. Okay, I want to confirm that cars do explode just from normal MG or pistol or M16 rounds, whatever, just like in Call of Duty 4 and every other game that's come out since then. Cars are explodable, they catch on fire, it's not good to sit near them, they're used to kill enemies, and that's pretty much the end of what I want to say about cars. If you also remember the end of the last video, the guy was knocked down and it looked like he died from the RPG blast. That was actually an RPG knockback. We saw him doing the same thing in the trailer in the demo at PAX, and it looked like he was just kind of lining himself up to get killed, but then we noticed that he was sitting far enough away from the blast where it didn't damage him sufficiently to kill him. However, it did knock him down on his back, and then his character jumped back up and started fighting again. So there will be explosions that engine will knock your character down, and that can be used tactically to ensure that if you want to go teabag someone or knife them while they're still alive, I'm sure you can have fun doing that by knocking them down with grenades. We noticed in the first video, and a lot of you pointed out, that there was a guy that slid behind cover towards the end of it. Did not mention it because I thought it might have been cinematic. However, we saw it happen several more times at the PAX East 2011 demo, so we think sliding behind cover will actually be a gameplay mechanic that the player may be able to perform, and possibly in multiplayer too, but absolutely the NPCs perform some kind of slide. It's not necessarily hugely affecting the gameplay, but it does kind of look cool, and who knows, it might speed up your movement behind cover, and it's always harder for snipers to shoot you as long as the hitboxes are drawn appropriately. The crawling animations change for each environment. We saw a guy crawling through an air duct in the PAX East demo, and he was crawling forward with his gun forward instead of kind of more an army crawl on his in a lot flatter of an open area kind of thing. So the crawling animations changed. That was nice to see. This is going to sound stupid, but we saw the main character sit in the chair and disarm a bomb. So the sitting in the chair, that was just the cinematic animations. Probably not going to be an active action. However, if you recall, in one of the earliest trailers, a lot of people analyzed where there was a punching scene that looked a lot like some kind of torture. That was actually really well planned out by the devs, because it was not a torture scene, even though it looked like it. The punch scene was when we were disarming a bomb in a basement, and we got ambushed from behind by some insurgent, and he started beating us up, and then we performed several mouse button clicks or controller clicks to fight back and do some kind of cinematic fight sequence, which it was a lot of fun to watch, but it's probably not going to play out that way in multiplayer for sure. We saw towards the middle of the PAX East trailer, we were on top of a bridge shooting down at the guys below. The main weapon that the dev was armed with was an MG with 200 rounds. If you guys know anything about what that means, go ahead and post what weapon that is below, and I will add it in the annotations. So the MG had 200 rounds. It also had a bipod that was deployable or packable. He laid down on the bridge and started shooting at the cars and blowing them up. It was a lot more accurate when he used the bipod, so it's really nice to see bipods come back into play. That'll probably affect sniping a lot if snipers get them. So that's pretty much all we wanted to say. There were some cool scripted earthquakes with building collapses in single player. In the PAX East demo, just like in this Battlefield Fault Line Episode 2 trailer, we saw the guy shoot a building and collapse it with rocket launcher. We also saw at the end of the PAX East demo another scripted earthquake happened where the ground split in half, and it rose about 5 feet high on one side and we were on the lower side, and then a building collapsed and it fell on top of our character, and that was the end of the demo that we saw. So it's definitely a really cool looking game. Look out for it in fall. We were not told an exact month, but it will be released this fall, they say. Look out for more information about Frostbite 2. Check our website, www.gamersnexus.net, for more information. Check our YouTube channel frequently. We have interviews from PAX East, so if you're interested in Orcs Must Die or Portal 2, definitely check those out. And we might be posting some small articles about some of the other games there, so keep an eye out, and we'll talk to you guys next time.